Hey guys, it is Casey. I want to show you how we do nature study. It is Casey with Accidental Homeschoolers. If you are new to my channel, I am so excited that you are here. I am very passionate about today's topic. It is a very important thing in our household. So please stick around. I would love to have you, so please subscribe. Please join the community. So today I would like to talk about how we do nature study in our homeschool. Now it's going to look different in everyone's homeschool, but I'd like to share with you how we do it just so it might give you some more ideas. Plus at the end, if you have some different ideas, I would love if you would share the things in the comments below with what you guys do. So first and foremost, most of our nature study is done outside, on a trail, hiking. We like to go out to a quiet place in the woods. We like to find a place to sit down most of the time, but normally we start with hiking. And I will ask questions. You know, what is that? Why does it look like that? Why is it growing on this side of the tree? Why do you think that looks like that? What track is this? Like, can you identify the animal? By the way, my cat is here again. If you saw my last video, he was here in the last video. He's still doing good. If you are new, my cat is diabetic and he had a small emergency last week, but he is a lot better, but now this is his favorite spot. So I guess he's gonna be in all my videos for a while. But anyway, forgot where I was. So we like to start out doing that, and we're looking for places where we can sit down where it's quiet. I'd like to incorporate art into our nature study because it's a really good time. It's a quiet time. So we do either take a blanket to sit on. We have small, lightweight backpacking chairs that we take and just sit down and enjoy that. Now it's a little different with a baby. I don't get to partake in the art anymore because I'm busy chasing a baby, but it's still a lot of fun. So usually what we take with us is our watercolor palette. We take our watercolor palette. Definitely we both have different colored pencils. We have our paint brushes. We have drawing pencils. Now I am gonna say, I am not an artist. I'm not great at it. You can identify what I'm drawing, so not the best teacher, but I do want him to at least enjoy it, and I do teach him the things that like I kind of know, so our art's not expert. So don't think like we're amazing and you know we're doing these awesome nature drawings. No, but it's a lot of fun and we enjoy it and it's quiet time. So we definitely have like our paint brushes and, you know, drawing pencils. You don't have to have nice things, but one thing I've learned is that having better art supplies actually does make a difference. So buying the very, very cheap things isn't always the best. So I will give that advice. Each of us has a different, oh, these are mine. We each have different drawing notebooks, and this one was my son. So I'm going to show you what these look like in just a second, just the things that we are focusing on. So I'd like to show you a little bit. We either draw, we paint, things that we see, just trying to get just trying to learn some things. We did the lunar phases last year, so we both painted that. This is actually mine. This was a part of the geology curriculum with the Good and the Beautiful. This one I normally take out. I was trying to learn to draw a pine tree and paint it. I was writing, you know, and drawing things that I saw and the things that I was learning. I was actually looking stuff up in a book to help identify the specific trees and stuff like that. In this area we have longleaf pines, which is very specific, and I was writing down the things and we had talked about that and trying to draw or paint the trunk of a tree. This is from Alaska. This is fireweed, which is really special, so I was trying to learn to draw that. Just different things. There's specific woodpeckers. I was trying to do that. Pine cones. Red-winged blackbirds. We were seeing a lot of those one day. And in my son's notebook, one day I found this really cool idea. And one day at different times, like 9 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m., I had him draw paint what he saw in the sky. And that actually turned out to be really cool. I did it with him as well. He was trying to draw leaves. He identified a yellow warbler, and I asked him to draw a picture. He was trying to paint a bald eagle. So we're not exactly artists, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. It's just a lot of fun, and some of these I will be keeping forever just because I love them. So on top of art, we do a lot of identification, and my grandmother was actually an amateur ornithologist and a rock hound. So geology and birds were her passion. When I was a kid, I was very lucky. My grandparents had an Airstream travel trailer, and they traveled everywhere in their retirement. And for every holiday that I had off from school, they would swing by and pick me up. So I have been to a lot of places. I've been all the way across the country. I've been to many national parks. My grandmother was also a teacher, so it was very important for her to show me things in that kind of aspect. So I guess maybe after being a teacher and now homeschooling, I kind of was sort of raised in it a little bit, and she and I were alike in a lot of ways, so it was kind of fun. But what we like to do, of course, is identify birds. Now, she passed down to me her bird identification book. Let me preface, my grandparents are no longer alive, which is very sad because my son and daughter never got to meet them, but they're a huge part of who I became. But I will say she did leave me a lot of things. So she left me her bird identification book. And the very cool thing about this is that she wrote inside of it, next to every single bird, she wrote where she saw it and the date, and some of these dates go back to me being a baby, which is really cool. I don't usually take this one out. I do have my own that I'm writing in, basically trying to identify every single bird. So she left me her Eastern bird identification book and her Western. So if you're not familiar, birds are different all over the country. Some do cross over, but birds are very different between the East and the West. So if you didn't know that, that was a little tip. If you are new, you've missed a lot of stuff. We are currently moving. So we're moving all the way, well, almost all the way across the country to the Southwest, which is a portion of the country that none of us in my family have ever stayed in for a long period of time where we've lived. So it's going to be fascinating from a very nerdy science, like nature study aspect. So for us, we're only going to be there 1 year. So for us, I decided that that needed to be our focus for our homeschool next year. There's so many things around where we're going to be living that are just so different that I want to make sure that we get every single bit of amazingness out of it. So I got a Birds of the Southwest identification book, and it's very thin. I wanted it to be very easy for my son, and it has color tabs along the side. So, you know, if the bird is mostly blue, you go to the blue tab, and on the inside it shows you. So it makes it a little bit easier for him, and then I'm gonna have him write where he saw it and the date, and that way he has this for the future, and I think that that is very important. So one suggestion I would give for your nature study is get yourself a book for your kids. It doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be fancy, it could be easy. They make like trifold, like laminated pamphlets. You could use that, you know, use a Sharpie to write on it if you don't want to carry a whole lot or you don't want to spend a lot of money. So that makes memories. It helps teach them skills of, you know, looking things up, identifying why is that different. So that is what we'll be doing for that. Now my other favorite thing is wildflowers. I love seeing them. I love identifying them. Now, of course, we've done that where we are now, but I got one for the Southwest. And this one, Peterson's, also has these color tabs. I don't even know if you can see this. I don't think you can see this, but on the inside, it has these color tabs as well. So if the flower is mostly red, it makes it a little bit easier to identify, same as the bird book. If it's yellow, if it's more purple or blue. So what I liked about this book is that it wasn't only in color, it also had pictures in black and white. This will actually make it easier for him to be able to look at and try to copy and draw. So I thought that was really cool. One thing that I have always done is that I love to pick a wildflower or wildflowers on all the trails that we've hiked. My family has done a lot of section hiking of the Appalachian Trail. And what I mean by section hiking is that we pick a section and we backpack that section for several days. We've done a lot of that, especially before my daughter was born. It's a little difficult when you have a baby, you can do it. But we're not ready to do that yet. But every trail that we hike, I pick wildflowers. So I have this notebook, and what I like to do is I pick the flower, I put it inside and I press it, put the rubber band on, put it back in my bag until we are finished. And what I like to do is I like to press the flowers. So a quick little tip, if you didn't know, when you pick a flower, before it's dried, if you spray it with hairspray, it helps keep the color of the flower. So, and then you can hang it up to dry. Once it's dry from the hairspray, put it back in, put the rubber band on, press it. After several days, when it is finally dry, what I like to do is I tape it down with little pieces of tape. I guess you could staple it if you really wanted to. And then I always write where I found it and the date. And so I have a notebook just full of flowers from different places. It helps, and sometimes I write a little bit more because I want to kind of remember that trip, you know, what was great, what was bad, did it rain the whole time, things like that. On this trail, during that season, there were no wildflowers. All that was there was ferns. So I got a fern. It helps me remember that time period. One time I couldn't find any flowers. All I found was a turkey feather and I stuck that in there. But mostly it is just full of wildflowers. And with the hairspray, you can see how vibrant the colors still are. This is from 2 years ago. So just beautiful. And I really I love to do this. I haven't done one for my son yet, and I probably should, especially with where we're going. I think that might be, I'm thinking out loud right now, I think that might be something that we do as well. So that is a lot of fun, especially if you have girls. Now my son likes to pick them and give them to me, and I put them in here because sometimes he sees them before I do. And then from there, you can use your book to help you identify them. And then because my grandmother was such a rock hound, She loved rocks. She just loved them everywhere she went. I mean, she bought amazing rocks, which got passed down to me. Our house is just full of them. I would show you some, but currently I had to pack them away for the showing of our house because I think it was a little overwhelming. Because we had to make the house look less and like kind of bare. So I don't have any to show you. But what we like to do as a family is we like to collect rocks, especially places we go. You know, first time I'm getting wildflowers, but I'm also picking up a rock. And my son always gets one for himself. He has jars. We have jars as a family. I have jars from, you know, before I was married, lots of places. So everywhere I go, I always get at least one. But where you're going, you can see many things. Where we are right now, there's a ton of quartz. So we have lots of that right now. So I did get a book for Rocks, Gems, and Minerals of the Southwest. And this one's also small. So another thing that my grandmother left me was her set of binoculars. Now they make much smaller, lighter, probably even better versions of binoculars. But because this is a memory from my childhood, I really cherish these. Now they're huge and they're very heavy. And look at the old school strap that she had. This is how I remember my grandmother. Always had these. She would sit outside the Airstream and just listen. Oh, did you hear that? That's you know, you see that? And she taught me how to use binoculars from a very young age. I had my own set and I still have the set that I used to use in the Airstream, but these are very precious to me. So I still use these. Another amazing thing that she left me was her spotting scope. Now, if you're not aware, spotting scopes are expensive, but she left she left me hers. And because I have a YouTube channel, I have to have a tripod. Can't see it, but I bought the really heavy duty tripod so that it could be used for YouTubing and it could be used to, this is heavy too, it could be used to hold the spotting scope. And you know, one of the memories I have is we went to Yellowstone and, you know, she set this up at the top of the Lamar Valley. And if you're not familiar, like it's, I think they call it the Serengeti of America because you can look down and you can see so many different animals. You can see moose and elk and bear and wolves and deer and all kinds of things. You can see the gamut of animals. And it was awesome because she could set it up and we could look and we could see so many amazing things. And I love the idea that I can take something from my childhood and I can give it to my children and their childhood because these are the most amazing memories that I have as a kid. Also, things to add to your nature study are picture books or, you know, bigger, thicker, like resource books if your kids are older. This just adds to their learning. So because we will be living in a desert, none of us have ever technically lived in a desert and my son has never seen one. So I thought it was very important to have books that helped him understand where we were going before we left, because I've been trying to say, okay, you're used to seeing green and now you're going to see a lot of brown. And he's like, but I don't understand. So yes, we've watched documentaries and these books just kind of talk about the difference, you know, what animals are doing, what's in a desert. And then of course I got a book on desert animals, which actually talks about some that aren't just in the United States, that are in just deserts in general, because there were animals I was like, we don't have those in America, but they're in deserts all over the world. So I thought that that was very important. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it gave you some additional ideas on what you can do with your nature study. And if you haven't started nature study, hopefully it gave you a really wonderful place to start. If you have any questions, leave them below. I love answering questions. I love being able to help Plus, I love when you guys leave comments of things that I never thought of, because then it gives me more ideas. It's so fun. So if you're not already a part of our community, please subscribe, because then you know. Oh, and hit the little bell, because then you know when I upload a video. I try to be consistent and upload them on Mondays and Thursdays. Sometimes life happens, but I try to do that for you guys. So I hope you like this video. Hit the like button, please. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hi. So this is future Casey. As I'm editing this video, I realized that I forgot to mention I have 2 nature study videos that I'll link below of us actually going out and doing nature studies. So I'll link those below. You should totally watch them, and you could watch them with your kids as well.
Every change has a